you start to see the way I feel. And my actions, y'all been forcing me to say what's real. Fake handshake before you see me take a deal. Like Colin Kaepernick, I make him kneel. I ain't talking for the flag. Shorty got on makeup, all my niggas wear masks. Yeah, have an identity crisis. We tryna get rid of ISIS. Brody got the gas on him. We tryna fiddle the prices. Yeah. All you niggas Gucci Louis, I'm on a different designer back when the chicken was Tyson. Yeah. Lately I'm killing my rivals, all of my women is biased. I know she thinks she a diamond. Yeah. I hit these hoes with the Midas.
All right, what's going on, y'all? Skoota the old wavy bastard here. This is episode 90. Episode 90 of the Not Included podcast. As always, every episode is brought to you by Liquor and Lemonade. Got a special guest in the building.
How we doing today?
Joe, Hitman Joe.
What's up? How we doing? I'm Mo P's brother. I was on here before. How's everybody doing tonight?
Oh, shit. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm good. How are you, man? Happy to be here.
Man.
That's my cousin Richard. Let's say it. Happy to be here, bro. Yeah.
So we got you here. You said you wanted to come on and speak about, you're trying to become a cop, right?
I am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gladly.
So you wanted to come on here and speak about cop and public relations.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'll just jump right into it. I feel like there's a pretty big disconnect between people and the police, and I feel like I'm that guy that could be a kind of like a bridge or a medium between people and police. I feel like, honestly, I could sit down and I could talk to anybody. I mean, it's actually a problem in my current job that I sit down and I talk to people. I have relationships with people. I have conversations with people. I relate to people, you know. I feel like there's not a lot of people that do that in a specific force. And I think it makes it hard for people to relate to police officers, right? And I think there's a disconnect between people. Like, let's look at George Floyd. George Floyd, you know, everybody's like, well, the cop that killed George Floyd was just a guy. He hates people, yada, 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 and he killed George Floyd without having any remorse. It seems like Derek Chauvin has a lot of remorse for what he did. He didn't mean to kill the guy. It was just a situation. He was following his protocols. Maybe the protocols were wrong, but...
The knee on the neck protocol? I don't think that's protocol according to...
I don't think that necessarily was the right protocol for that, but he put the knee on his neck, and that was wrong.
Well, I think a lot of people testified that that's not something that they teach for that division or that precinct or, you know, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was wrong as an EMS provider, as a firefighter, as a guy who's a certified EMT by the state. I don't think it was right that there was a guy having a knee on a guy's neck.
Right.
I believe that as soon as he went unresponsive, or as soon as they heard him say that he can't breathe, they should have let off. Or if he would have went unresponsive, they should have, at that second, started doing CPR. I mean, common sense would say if a guy is unresponsive, you need to start doing CPR, right? I mean, as an average civilian, would you think if you saw somebody who wasn't able to breathe, would you start doing CPR?
Well, I don't know CPR, so no. But
if you knew CPR, yes, would you?
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Sure.
Would you do everything in your power to make it so that you could help this person's survival? Right.
Right.
Would you call 911? Would you try to get an ambulance there as soon as you could?
Right.
Okay. So I don't think he handled that situation right. With that being said, though, man, like I don't think the average person understands the amount of stress that a cop's under. At least like where I work as a firefighter, I see people cussing out my police officers. My police officers have saved my life. I'm not going to say what fire department I work for or what police department I've been hanging out with, but I can tell you that there's been multiple situations that police officers haven't just saved me, but they've saved people on my fire department. I remember one time we had a guy who was coked out on some crazy shit, man. And he pulled a knife out and he was trying to cut people in the back of the ambulance. He literally was trying to fucking kill my personnel on my fire department. And there was a cop in there and he jumped on the guy. He got that knife out of his hand. Like, people are literally trying to kill police. And people will refuse that and say that it's not true. But that's the situation we're in. I remember when I was an EMT and I was working in the city of Milwaukee, I remember one day, just after the George Floyd situation, I remember one day there was about a 5-year-old child and another child who was choking on something. We got called for a choking child. We responded to there was 2 kids there, and me and my partner got upstairs. They lived on the second story. Okay, this mom goes. So we get to the kid that's choking. Obviously, fuck everything else there. There's a kid choking because the kid's gonna die. So I'm up there and I'm fucking running. I ran up the stairs with my jump bag. I was ready to start. I had my McGill forceps ready. I was ready to pull the shit out of this kid's fucking mouth so that this kid could live. Okay. We ended up getting there. It was called in wrong. The kid choked on something. They spit it up. It was good. The kid was fine by the time we got there. Thank God. Right? I mean, I don't ever want to use my skills. But if I have to, I will. Right? I don't wake up and saying, "Oh, I hope this person has a heart attack so I can do CPR on this person." I have skills. I was trained to use them in the worst case scenario, but I don't ever wake up hoping that I can use them. Well, yeah, we got up to the kid, and the other kid was sitting there watching us. The kid was amazed by me. I turned on the lights on the outside of the house. It was 4-year-old kids looking outside the window. They see this ambulance outside with the lights on. They think it's the coolest thing on earth, right? We go and check out the kid, and the parent of the kid, the mom of the kid, walks up to the kid and she says, "Don't worry, they're the good ones. They're not the ones that are out here to hurt us." What the fuck do you mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, dude, cops aren't waking up saying, "I want to fucking kill black people every day." And I think that's a narrative that's been taught to people, is that they're out here like, "I want to fucking kill black people. I want to kill niggers." Like, that's not the case, man. And anybody that believes that is just stupid. And I hope I'm not offending anybody who's saying that, but that is not the case. Nobody ever wants to hurt anybody in this profession or in any profession. It's not like I wake up every day and I'm like, "Oh, I hope I don't have to fucking save a black person from their death." Like, I'm here to help every person, no matter what race it is, what nationality you are, what religion you are. I'm here to help you. I decided to take this job so that I could help you. And police have that same situation. That's why I want to be a cop, because like I want to help everybody. But I think there's a lot of people that think police are out there to hurt people. And I hope that me being a firefighter, me being an EMT, the relationship I have with society already would think that, this guy's not here to hurt me. Oh shit, this guy pulled me over for going 90 miles an hour down the highway. He's not here pulling me over because I'm black. It's because I was doing something wrong. And I don't necessarily know if it's an accountability situation and people are just like looking for a scapegoat or what, but like I'm hoping I can be that bridge between people.
Okay, so a couple of things.
Okay.
One, as far as the George Floyd thing, I don't, we can all speculate whether he did it on purpose or not. That's none of us really know for sure.
Sure.
But it's clear that he didn't have any type of empathy at the time of what was going on.
Okay.
It's like he's already subdued. You got handcuffs on him.
Okay.
At that point, he's already in custody. So
Sure.
you don't have to stay on top of it. As far as from what I've heard and read is that once they're in cuffs, you're actually supposed to sit them up.
Yeah.
Because that's protocol for them to keep them, to keep them safe.
Sure.
Them safe as well as you. You don't stand them up completely, but you make sure they're in an upright position.
Right. So let's break down the George Floyd situation, because I think this was a situation that was overly amplified, and had there not been an audience there, everything would have been done to protocol. Okay. But had there been an audience there,
That's not an excuse though.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but per Minneapolis police protocol, as it was explained to me, and I'll be the first one to admit I have not read their protocol. As it was explained to me, in a situation as they were in, they had a group of people around them. Okay. So it was making a hostile environment. In EMS, there's a situation called it's load and go. You go as fast as you can because it's either a danger to the patient or it's a danger to you. Okay. Imagine you and your partners as an EMT. Okay. For EMTs, let's just look up the riots that happened because of George Floyd. We have a patient, he's been assaulted, yada, yada, yada. You and I, we're riding in on Med 16. Okay. We're rolling into Med 16. We're picking this patient up. We're loading him up. We're going, right? We're not going to hang out. We're not going to start using our skills in this where there's a bunch of people who are already hating police or who are already hating us and hating the system. We're going to hang out. We're going to load our patient up. We're going to go. We're going to make sure this patient's okay. We're going to pick him up, put him on the cot, and we're strapping him down. We're going. We're getting the heck out of there. As Minneapolis EMS did. I don't know exactly what the police protocol was, but I believe that the police protocol was to make sure that the situation was handled. Obviously, they did not handle the situation correctly. I think you and I can agree with that. They should not have handled George Floyd like that. Do I, as an EMS professional, believe that George Floyd died from that knee on his neck? I think that had something to do with it. But I would also think that the excessive amount of fentanyl that he took probably had something to do with it, because I myself have gone to fentanyl overdoses and not been able to save people from fentanyl overdoses. So that leads me to think
overdose is completely different from just being on fentanyl.
I think he was in a for the pre-existing medical conditions he had and the amount of fentanyl he took, I believe that was enough to knock him down.
You believe? I want to go based on facts. Is that something that was said? As far as in the case, they said that more than likely that was not a huge cause to the death. I believe, as even with the autopsy.
As like, okay, I think that his death was a perfect storm of a whole lot of situations. I think the fentanyl had something to do with it. I think his pre-existing conditions had something to do with it. And a knee on his neck had.
Okay, let's do this then. Let's take out the knee on the neck. Can he survive if he was already on fentanyl and had these pre-conditioned things? He was living. Sure. So these are things that he had, and that he was living with, up until that point, to when the knee got on his neck. I think with the amount of fentanyl he had, it would have done some serious damage to him. Okay. As a person who practices medical things, and I'm like literally, dude, I am literally the bottom tier of the medical profession. Okay. Right. I am literally like a doctor who looks at me and like, you did what? Like, you pushed your drugs. Why? Okay. I am the lowest tier, but I understand how drugs work. Fentanyl is an opioid. It makes you stop breathing. Okay. You go into respiratory arrest when you take fentanyl or heroin or oxycodone, like significant amounts of oxycodone, before somebody misconstrues what I say. A significant amount of oxycodone will make you go into respiratory arrest. Okay. With his preconditions, I think the amount he took would have definitely did some damage to him. But I'm not saying that Derek Chauvin was wrong. I obviously think he was wrong. I don't think that somebody should hold their knee on the neck on a person for over any time. I don't think that's right. That's a wrong thing to do to somebody. There's no reason why somebody should have pushed him off and made sure that he wasn't doing that. Okay? I think a lot of people, when I say like the situation was handled, will come at me and be like, well, you don't think the cop is right. Or you don't think you're siding with the cop right now. I'm not siding with the cop. I think what he did was wrong. But I'm also saying, let's look at the other factors in this situation and let's not just place this all on this cop. This cop obviously acted wrong in his situation, and it's unfortunate for him that he just couldn't make the decision to be better or make a better decision
But
in
when
the
you
situation.
name all these things that you're naming, that takes away some accountability from him.
I think that's the whole thing, though. That's the whole thing you and I are talking about right now. I think a lot of people put too much stress on police officers. I think this police officer was thinking, I'm trying to subdue my suspect, okay?
He's subdued though already. He's on the ground in handcuffs.
Okay. But this person's on the ground. You have a crowd of people who are starting to chant things at you. Like me in that situation.
So why stay there?
Why stay there? Exactly.
For 9 minutes.
Exactly. That's my thing. Me in that situation, I'm gonna get that guy up. I'm gonna put him in my squad car, and we're gonna get him to the station. That's me because like I don't want to be there. I don't want to see what this crowd's gonna do. I'm not a cop. I'm not.
So why sit there on? Why?
I don't know. I don't know why he did that. I can't get in his mind. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know why he did that. I don't.
You don't know why, but okay. Let's say this. Okay, you don't know why. We obviously can't be in his head.
Okay.
But with all the other things you said about the fentanyl and all this other stuff.
How did he
you
know he was
said
on
I
fentanyl,
think
though?
you no, I'm saying you said I think. You
Okay.
said I think.
Okay.
So let's apply that same thing to this.
Okay.
If he was on his neck for 9 minutes, why do you think he did that?
Honestly, man, I don't know. Joe Rogan talks about this with a guy who was in the Navy SEALs. He says, I think that all police officers and military personnel should be at least a red belt in jiu-jitsu. Why do you think that he wants that?
So they can subdue people without actually having to use deadly force.
Not necessarily that. That is part of it, yes. But it's because a martial arts teaches you to use your mind before you use your fists. Okay?
Right.
If I can take a person down before I'm using hostile interactions, I am definitely reconstructing the situation. My family members were Marines, and he was a Marine. He did Marine things, and he said one of the first things he ever learned was that you need to use your mind before you start using your hands. Okay. If I can deconstruct the situation in my mind and keep calm and figure out a way to make this not be a hostile situation with my mind, not my arms, not my hands, not my gun, not my taser, not my billy club, not my pepper spray, my mind. If I can talk to you and I can talk you off of this edge, you and I can have a conversation before it becomes something hostile. Before I put you in handcuffs and you feel that you're not able to protect yourself, right? As Brother George Floyd felt like. I don't know what was going through Derek Chauvin's head. I don't agree with the putting his knee on his neck. That was not right. That was something I would never do as an EMS professional, okay? Maybe he meant to put his knee on somebody's back. I could foresee putting my knee on somebody's back to hold him down and put my cuffs on him. But after that, I'm letting him go and I'm sitting him up. But I'm not, I don't know. I'm not a cop, man. Like, I want to be a cop. I'm in the process of being a cop. You know, I've applied to be a cop, but I don't know what was going through his head. I don't know the protocols. And maybe after I become a cop, this would be a better conversation where I can say, this is my protocol for this situation. But right now, I'm just a guy who's...
Well, I can say that in the trial, the sergeant or whatever, who I forgot whatever his title is, but he's basically the guy's boss. He said this is not protocol.
Okay, so then we can.
So, but I did want to ask you this. Just you might not be able to answer. It's not, but just something to give you a thought. Why can there be? And I don't want to make it just about you because you're probably not the only person that thinks like this, but
Sure.
you and anybody that thinks, why can we have why can you all have speculation about what part the fentanyl played, but you can't have speculation on what Derek Chauvin was thinking?
Because I myself have personally been tried, or I've had people personally try and kill me, trying to help them as an EMT in Milwaukee. I've had people try and kill me. I know what the flip
I think
side.
that would be called bias, right?
No, it's not. That's called an understanding of the situation. That's an understanding of a situation because I understand what that cop's going through, what he's thinking. Like, is this guy going to try and kill me? I need to put him down on his back before he can kill me.
Okay, that's not the part that's.
But where I break off from where he was thinking is
Right.
that I shouldn't, as a cop, right? Some guy's trying to hurt me.
Right.
I'm not going to fucking put 5 rounds in his chest and just watch him fall to the ground and be like, yeah, motherfucker, I killed you. I myself am going to try and put him in cuffs, the first thing. And if he's not going to go for that, then I'm going to try and tase him so that I'm not critically hurting him. And if he has a cardiac arrhythmia when I'm doing that, then I'm going to get EMS there to help him.
Right.
Okay? Like, I'm not here to kill people.
No,
I'm not, right? But I think that people think that all cops are here to kill people. And I think that's the vibe, at least I've been getting from everything I've been hearing, is that people think the police are there to kill people. And that's why people want to defund the police. And I don't agree with that at all. And that's why there's so many people that are on the right that are like, let's defund the Democrats. Let's fight the Democrats. Like, there's this huge division that's going on over this one situation because of how extreme one side is and how extreme the other side is. So let's get a bridge in between here. Let's understand that not all cops are here to kill people and not all people want to defund the police, right? And let's just find a common ground so that we're not here. And we could do this for every other situation that there is because there's this huge division down the center, man. And I'm hoping that if I could become a cop, I could fix that division, or at least in one aspect of it. At least I could be a bridge because somebody that was like hardcore.
But you do realize that you'll have to speak up on the things that stuff like this that clearly is wrong.
Don, I believe
that's been portrayed not to be the easiest thing because of the quote unquote blue wall of silence or whatever it's called. I don't know.
Don, my brother, your best friend, and me were raised to do what's right. Okay? No matter what it comes down to, what's right is what I'm going to do. If that means I'm going to lose my job as a cop, I'm going to lose my job as a firefighter, I'm going to lose my job as an EMT, what is right, I will stand up for. Okay? That's my code of ethics. Maybe not everybody's code of ethics is that, because we didn't have a dad that was instilled in us that we need to make sure we do what's right. But that's my code. And if there ever is a situation, I'll tell you now, if everybody is my witness, I will fight for what's right or what I view as right. Okay. And I know a lot of people will say like, well, you're siding with the cop. I'm not necessarily doing that. I'm pretty down the middle. I don't think Derek Chauvin should have held his neck on Derek Floyd's neck or George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes. I watched that clip and I was screaming at the TV when I saw it. I said, get your knee off this guy's neck. Okay. Like, that's not the right thing to do. You shouldn't suffocate a person. That's wrong. But let's also agree on the fact that this guy did have drugs in the system and he did have pre-existing conditions that probably didn't help that cause. I'm not trying to say that Derek, do I think Derek Chauvin killed him? Probably with his knee on his neck. I agree with that. But can we please acknowledge the fact that he did do drugs, that he did take an opioid that sends you into respiratory arrest, and he took a significant amount of that drug that would send him into respiratory arrest? Can we please acknowledge the fact that he had a criminal record before that he was doing drugs before that? Like, I'm not saying he deserved to die, and I hope people don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't think anybody deserves to die, but can we please acknowledge other things? I feel like a lot of people are just going through one thing to say that this guy did something wrong. Derek Chauvin did do something wrong. But there are other things, other factors in this thing. It's not just one thing. Like, I can't just pick up this bottle of Honey Jack, right? There's 4 or 5, 6 different factors into this situation that are on this circular thing here. Okay? It's not just one thing. Obviously, the one thing, if we took this one thing out, it'd be significantly, and he probably would have been doing a lot better than what he was doing. But potentially he could have died had Derek Chauvin never put his knee on his neck too, with the amount of drugs that he took. We'll never know that because Derek Chauvin decided to hold his neck or his knee on his neck for 9 minutes. We'll never know.
Well, right here it says the autopsy report from Hennepin County Medical Examiner Office concluded that the cause of death was cardiopulmonary arrest complicating law enforcement subdual, restraint, and neck compression.
Yes. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Cardiopulmonary arrest. Cardiac arrest created by pulmonary arrest or pulmonary means okay. I think what the issue is, and I'm not a doctor, and I'm not anybody to speak on behalf of Derek Chauvin, and I am not anybody who supports Derek Chauvin. I think what he did was wrong. I need to stress that. I think a lot of people are going to think that I don't think what he does is wrong. I don't think killing anybody in any mean is right, unless they're trying to kill you. And even then, I don't agree with that. But sometimes you have to do what you got to do to get home to your family. And that's worst case scenario. I should probably stress that. Put that out there. Like, if somebody is literally trying to kill me, trying to stab me, and I pull my gun out and I cap them and they die, this guy was literally trying to kill me. He had a knife on my chest, okay? Or this guy was literally shooting at me and put bullet holes in my squad car or bullet holes in my ambulance, and I shot back.
Okay, but you're talking about extreme case scenario.
Yeah, but that's
where the scenarios that are talked about.
But Don, that's a very common thing, man.
Okay, I'm not dismissing that.
I could bring that. I could pull up my Facebook right now, and it could be a wall of officers that died this week because somebody decided to shoot them and kill them. Some guy who was just, I didn't want to deal with the police today, and it was just a guy who died in Stockton, California, because he was going in to do like a basic call, and this guy decided to shoot him through the door and kill him. And the other police had to kill the guy, unfortunately. But like the police officer in Stockton died. That's so unfortunate. This guy was a dedicated guy to his society. He was trying to make society better, and he was killed trying to help. Officer Matthew Rittner was a great guy in Milwaukee County, right? Who died because he was trying to help society and try and get rid of guns or take guns off of the streets of society or of Milwaukee County. Officer David Mihalski died trying to help people. Nobody can say anything bad about Officer Mihalski. But yeah, he died just trying to go in and talk to a guy, and he got shot through his door and was killed. So if you want to bring up one extreme, like...
you brought up extreme.
I know, I'm just saying, but if we're going to bring up an extreme, let's talk about all these other extremes too.
You brought up extremes. I didn't even get a chance to finish what I was saying.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Because I wanted to just talk about what the autopsy report said.
Sure.
But we can also, how you said about all that, there's also on the other side, all these people that died that were on the same opposite end, reverse, I would say role reversal, where they didn't deserve to die and they weren't putting their life on the line and doing this and that, but they weren't terrible people. And we can also talk about the people that came within an inch, because I can speak for myself personally, that I came within just a simple mere thought of a police officer. It just took whether he wanted to pull the trigger or not. I didn't do anything wrong. I pulled into a gas station with a group of my friends in my car. Before I even got the chance to turn my car off, police rolled up on us.
Okay.
5 of them on bikes.
5 on bikes?
On bikes.
That's wild.
One person got out.
Okay.
The guy knocked on the window. I let the window down.
Okay.
He didn't say anything. Reaching in the car, still hasn't said anything, so I don't know what's going on. I think he was trying to open the door.
Okay.
Next thing you know, one of the other officers jumps on the hood, pulls the gun out, and is pointing at me.
Jumps on
and
your hood.
says, yes, and says, turn the fucking car off.
That doesn't sound like that doesn't sound
Now,
like
at that point, anything can happen at that point. He got the gun out.
Affirmative.
So on him, it's on him.
Yeah.
Whether he wants to pull that trigger or not.
Sure.
So I could have done anything. At this point, I'm maybe 19 years old. I'm not even 21.
Okay.
Maybe 19, 18, 19 years old.
Okay.
I don't know what could have happened in that instant. It's just like how you said, there's so many instances in this. There could have been one thing. When he said turn the car off, when I decided to reach to turn the car off, he could have shot me.
Could have shot you through
because he could have said he was reaching.
Sure.
I couldn't see his hands no more.
Sure.
He was reaching.
Sure. I get that. I get where you're coming from with that. And yeah, that was obviously
I think the whole point because I don't like to talk about one instance, because one instance you can pull from it whatever you want and change things. I'm a big picture type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So the point of all the George Floyds and the Breonna Taylors and all these people like that is that cops are being overly aggressive in situations that they should not be.
But let's ask a question.
And it's more specifically seeming to be with black people.
Okay. I'll give you that.
And then you'll see white people, like you just said, which I wanted to actually ask you.
Sure.
This guy that had the knife and was swinging around, how did he get subdued? How did they subdue him, get him in handcuffs, and get him out of there? How did that go?
What situation are we talking about?
You said some guy pulled a knife out when you.
This is a hypothetical situation.
Oh,
a guy with a knife trying to kill me.
I thought you said this actually happened.
No. At me as a cop, how could we handle this situation? Right?
Oh, I thought you said somebody saved your life. A cop saved your life. In that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I've had police officers in weird situations definitely coming, people in custody. I've never had anybody physically with a knife coming at me. Sorry.
Well, there are videos on the internet.
Maybe hypothetically, it should have been a little bit better. With
specifically white men.
Sure.
That have weapons.
Okay.
I won't even specify what the weapon is.
Sure.
Weapons.
Sure.
And that are actually posing a threat to the cop with said weapon.
Don, I can tell you where I come from.
And not even getting tased.
Sure. I can tell you where I come from, dude. If you pull a gun on a cop, where I come from, and you're trying to and you're shooting at my police
but
officers,
I'm talking about in situations where the white they are of any
that was white people shooting at or white people pulling guns on cops. And I'm not saying that they did. I mean, they diffused the situation before a guy shot. But I've heard stories.
But black people have gotten shot out of assumption that he has a weapon.
Sure. I don't
These white people actually have weapons
sure.
and are able to get subdued without any gunshots being fired from either side.
Sure. I don't agree with any of that, man. I think also.
But that's the issue, is what I'm saying.
I get with that. And
that's why I said I don't want to speak about this specific situation because if that can be done, if somebody really wanted to do that, they can pick and choose out of the scenario. It's like, okay, this
guy was killed by a cop. This white guy wasn't, right?
So that's just basically is what it is. White people with no weapon get killed. I mean, black people with no weapon get killed. And white people with weapons do not. So that's the issue, period.
That's why I want to be a cop, man. I want to be a bridge between that. I want to defuse situations with my mind to make sure. Because, like, I spent time on the north side of Milwaukee. I've had people cussing me out, telling me they were going to kill me. Right? Like, I can handle that. I don't let that get to me. I've had those situations. Let it get to me. I've got past that. I want to use my mind to diffuse these situations. That's why I want to be a cop. I want to be a bridge between people and police. I want people to look at me and say, all right, well, this guy was a cop and he was pretty cool.
Right.
That's the whole reason of why I want to be a police officer.
I get that, but in me saying all that is in response to your argument against, or your not even I don't want to say argument, your point of view of the George Floyd situation.
Sure. Like I said, I mean, like, I'll make it pretty clear. My point of view
It's
is
like, okay, maybe he was on fentanyl.
yeah, he was.
Maybe he did have preconditioning decision. Okay, so
I
what?
can't even-
9 minutes on his neck.
It's not good. That shouldn't
Even
never
if he-
happen.
even
That
if
should
he-
never happen.
Even if he didn't die.
Done. I can tell you right now, that should have never happened. I agree with that. Do you agree with that?
But
He
that's
should have
the
never
whole-
been on his neck for 9
that's-
minutes, right?
Exactly,
He
but
should have
that's the
never
whole
been on
point.
his neck, right?
Exactly,
Okay,
but that's the whole
you and
point.
I can agree with that.
Right, but that's the whole point. But when you start doing things like, oh, he was on fentanyl, oh, you start pulling away from the accountability
Sure.
on Derek Chauvin's end.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the problem with it. Okay, yes, he was, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. But when you do that, that's the type of things that are done in cases.
Okay.
Like I'm talking about trials, not
Sure.
cases. In trials.
Sure.
That's what they're doing. They're going to pick whatever they can to pull away from accountability towards whoever might be getting charged.
Sure.
To remove reasonable, to not remove reasonable, right? To actually have reasonable doubt.
Okay.
To present reasonable doubt.
Sure.
Which is what I'm saying. You're pulling away accountability for him not to be punished for what he did.
I mean, I believe you should be punished. I hope that nobody listening to this thinks that I don't think you should have been punished.
But yeah, I'm aware that you know that what he did was wrong.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to explain to you is that
I get what
okay,
you're saying.
you can say you think he's wrong.
Sure.
But when you start naming all these things on George Floyd's end, that's pulling away
all I'm trying to
accountability to him to where he might not get charged or cannot get charged. That's his defense. Those are the things that they used in this case on clips that I've heard.
Sure.
In the defense of Derek Chauvin. Oh, he was on fentanyl. He had preconditioned whatever, however you say it. I don't know. I can't say that.
Yeah, I get pre-existing conditions.
Yeah. And they even tried to say because he was down there that long by a exhaust from a car.
From a car,
was
yeah.
like,
and
it's like,
come on,
man.
Yeah, no. So, I think you and I are on the same page right now. We agree with Derek Chauvin was wrong, right? You're mad at me because
I'm not mad.
I'm not saying. I'm just hypothetically. What you're trying to bring out is that I'm saying that this guy had pre-existing conditions, and he also took drugs, which would cause those pre-existing conditions to be exemplified or amplified, right? And then the guy, so his pre-existing conditions are already amplified, right? And then this guy goes and knees on his neck for 9 minutes. Well, obviously the guy's gonna die. And maybe, and I'm just one trying to say, maybe, just maybe, had the cop not kneed on his neck for 9 minutes, potentially he may have been alive or he may have been dead. Like, there's no way to telling that. Okay? But we shouldn't just be like, oh, the cop put his knee on his neck, that he deserves to go to prison for the rest of his life because he killed this guy. There may have been other things that killed the guy, but the knee on the neck definitely didn't help that situation. I don't know. I'm not I'm not a doctor. I'm not a guy who does autopsies. I'm the only person who can really say, like, the knee on the neck, it definitely killed this guy, was the autopsy guy. And he's even having a hard time saying that because he's like, yeah, it didn't help the cause, but it's not the thing.
It says cardiopulmonary arrest complicating law enforcement subtle restraint and neck compression, which the neck compression.
Okay, well, neck compression, that's definitely changed.
And right down here, it also says asphyxiation from sustained pressure.
Okay, well
which
then we can
only comes from.
Well, yeah, from a knee on the neck.
Physical, yes.
So okay, so then we can agree that the knee on the neck killed him. Okay, I mean, I think I agreed with that before all of this whole conversation. You agreed with that before this whole conversation, but can we just acknowledge the fact that there were other factors in this? Like, can we? Why? Because those amplified the situation. We should acknowledge the fact that the knee on effect from the.
But if the point is that if we're gonna punish this guy,
Mhm.
we have to make it clear
That
that
putting a knee on the
was-
neck of a guy for 9
Yes,
minutes is
all the
not
others-
right.
and
Yes,
that's it.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Though.
That was
That's
not
all-
right. Yeah, 1,000%. Nobody, dude.
So what?
Don,
That's what I'm
if
saying.
I put
So
my
what's
knee
the
on your neck right now, if I put my not as an officer because I'm not a cop yet, right? If I put my knee on your neck for 9 minutes and you died from asphyxiation, what's the situation? I'm going to jail or I'm going to prison for homicide, right?
right?
Okay, we can agree with that.
Right.
Let's find out that you did some fentanyl. Does that matter at all?
Why? I don't think so. No. Why does it? That's
Okay.
what I'm asking you. Why do you think that it matters?
Because I'm trying to bring the whole picture to the situation.
Why?
Because I believe that maybe not in this specific situation doesn't matter, but in thousands of other situations, it does matter. Okay? So I will fall
But
on the
we're
sword.
talking about this situation.
So on this
why
situation-
does it matter in this
on this situation-
You just said it doesn't.
So in this situation, Vinny on an X what killed the guy. All right? Can you agree with that?
Right.
Okay, I agree with that too. Excuse me, I had to burp there for a second. Sorry about that. The fact of the matter is that he definitely did have pre-existing conditions, though. Okay, you can. If a guy had a heart attack and he was probably a bad example. If a guy overdosed on fentanyl, okay, and he also had asthma, right? One drug puts you in respiratory arrest, another drug asphyxiates you from your chest because your shit starts closing down and you can't bring air to your lung. Does it matter that the guy overdosed on fentanyl, or does it matter that the guy had a pre-existing lung condition? Do you think maybe the guy who's doing fentanyl with a pre-existing lung condition shouldn't be doing that drug because he already has a condition with his lungs? Would you agree with that?
Sure.
Okay. I don't think George Floyd should have been doing drugs. I don't think anybody should do drugs. I don't think drugs should be legal. Okay? That's due to personal situations in my life that we can talk about at a later time. But I don't think people should be doing drugs. The fact of the matter is that the guy was doing an illegal drug and he died because he used a fake $20 bill to pay for something. I forgot what he was trying to pay for. It's not right that he died, and I don't think he should have died. And I don't think the police officer in that situation handled the situation right. But I would like to paint the whole picture to people. The fact of the matter is that this guy took a drug that puts people in respiratory arrest. I want people to understand that yes, he died because he had a knee on his neck. But let's also look at the picture where the guy had a knee on his neck. And he also, by the way, took a drug that puts people, when they overdose on it, in respiratory arrest. I know people that will fight until they're blue on the face and will say that George Floyd died because he overdosed on fentanyl and the fentanyl put him in respiratory arrest. And by the time that the cop got his knee on his neck, that's what he died before that. Obviously, watching the footage, we can agree that that's not right, right? But I know people that believe that. Why do people believe that? Because there's an extreme on one side. Because there's two extremes.
Because there's an argument to be had to have it, and you're contributing to that argument.
No, I'm not trying to contribute to it. I'm trying to paint the bigger picture, man. I'm trying to paint the picture to every situation. I want there to be known that this guy had a pre-existing heart condition. He had drugs in his system, and he also died because he had a knee on his neck. But the fact of the matter is that the guy had a knee on his neck. He also had, drugs in the system that would cause problems to put him in the respiratory arrest. Nobody knows how much of.
But if we have it here that the autopsy says the reason that he died is from asphyxiation from sustained pressure.
But where is that from? Because I read another autopsy report that said that he died from having a significant amount of fentanyl. So where are we getting our news from? Because I've heard another news article said that he died because he took a significant amount of fentanyl. And the picture or the problem is bigger.
Where did you read that from?
Where did I read that from? I think it's from something in Fox News. But the problem is that you're picking something else up and I'm picking something else up that are telling us two very different things. And I'm ready to fall on my sword for what I read.
I heard it from the case, from a medical examiner
Right.
during the trial.
But Don, I was told something totally different.
Okay.
And I'm ready to fall on my sword for that. And there are thousands of other people that
You're
are
ready to fall on your sword against a person that testified on a trial.
But
that had to put his hand on the Bible, that so many...
Dude, thousands of people have lied when they put their hands on the Bible.
Okay, I understand that. I'm not arguing that because of that. I'm pointing this out is because this is the government that all of these same people that you say that will fall on their sword for this, that they follow to a T. That they will say there's nothing wrong with this government and this establishment, these hierarchy establishments. There's nothing wrong. They do everything right. So if they are on trial, there's a guy on trial saying this is how he died.
Then there's a significant amount, I hate to tell you this, but there's a significant amount of people that can get bought to say something wrong. I'm not saying that's what happened with the situation, but I think there are people that don't believe in the government. I know people who refuse to trust the government on anything.
Well, those are people that I can't,
But here's the thing.
You can't talk logic with those people though. Then it's not logic. It's just based on what you think.
But what
there's no, and that's why I was saying about when you said you had all this speculation about what you think caused his death.
Sure.
But you don't have any speculation on what you think was going through Derek Chauvin's head at the time of what he was doing.
Sure. And
that's an issue.
I think you and I are on the same page.
Same page that we're on is that you believe that what Derek Chauvin did was wrong.
Okay.
You don't believe that you believe that it was more than a knee on his neck that caused his death, which I do not. You believe that he does not have... I believe that he does not have empathy and people that have killed black people don't have empathy for black people the way they have for other races. Yeah. You don't believe that's true.
Sure.
So there are many things that we don't agree on when it comes to the situation, which I'm not here to convince you. We're
having a conversation,
dialogue,
right?
But the only thing that we agree on is what he did was wrong. And that he should go to prison, I guess.
Don, do you feel differently about me when I walked in through your door from what I'm saying?
I've never had. I don't
know
you to have any type of feeling.
That's not what I'm saying. Like based on what we're conversing, do you feel differently about me from what we've been talking about?
I honestly don't care about what other people think.
But there are other people that would feel differently about me based off because I'm saying a counter argument, right? And I think that there are a lot of police officers out there that do kill black people, and it's not right. And they do it for whatever reason that they do it. I'm not going to say all police officers are racist because I'm trying to become a cop, and I'm not racist.
But that's the thing that I'm trying to point out to you. It's not about being racist.
Sure.
In which I don't like to use that word because
sure.
That's an extreme word,
okay.
Which we can never prove if somebody is exactly racist. But we can clearly see that the way people handle certain people, just like how you said, people will treat you different because you're arguing the other side.
Sure.
We can clearly see how people treat certain people versus how they treat other people. Okay, maybe it's not racist, but it's a clear bias difference of how you're treating these people versus how you're treating these people for whatever reason that it may be.
So can I tell you a story? I was at a vape shop with my best friend in Jackson, Wisconsin, okay? And because I live near there. And me and my best friend, I've been best friends with him since I was in 5th grade. I actually just told this story tonight at another party I was at.
I've been best friends with my buddy since 5th grade. Him and I have gone up north together. He's actually part of the reason why I go hunting, I go fishing. It's him and I do it together, with all our other friends. So him and I went to a vape shop. My buddy left his vape in the truck, or he left something in the truck that would help us get something to better his experience at the vape shop. I think he just forgot his vape, so I was going to bring it in for him. He sent me to go get it for him because I was closer to the door than he was, right? So me and my buddy go in the vape shop. We visit our friend, who works at the vape shop. We're chopping it up with him for probably another 20, 30 minutes, man. And I walk outside first, and my buddy's behind me, and the police officers are there. What? And they pick me up, and they're like, "Hey, we want to talk to you." Okay. And they're like, "So you see this car here?" They're like, "We got a call that you went into this car and took something out of it. It's not your car. We ran the plates. We know that's not your car." Okay, cool. So I call my buddy over and I'm like, "Hey, can you please explain to this cop that, I am your best friend and you sent me out to get something out of your car. And if they run your plates, they'll realize that it's you. This is your car." So my buddy talks to him and he was like, "Hey, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is my car. This is my best friend. I've known him since I was in 5th grade. Like, we've been best friends since. And what you're doing is wasting our time. So you need to go." And they were like, "Oh," they looked at me and they said, "I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to waste your time. We were just told that we thought somebody was stealing something out of the car. Had it been anybody else, we would have done the same protocol." Yeah, man, whatever. It's cool. I think you're kind of an asshole for how you went about this, but, I remember that. It wasn't the PD for that. It was I think the PD had something going on that day. It was a different police department showed up. But I run to a fire because I'm a firefighter for that county, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I roll up to a fire in that same town, right? And that same cop's fucking there at that fire. And they see me roll out of my fire truck. And they're like, "Holy shit. I didn't realize." And I was like, "Yeah, fuck you. Like, you're a fucking asshole for what you did. I hope that this teaches you something. Because what you did, you handled that situation wrong." Like, they saw me, they realized they were wrong. Right? Totally fucked up situation. But they learned from that. And I hope that, the same thing doesn't happen to other people. Bless you, bro. So, with that being said, like, yeah, there was an issue. But that same person learned from that issue. And yeah, not everybody's a firefighter.
But
right?
in some situations, that leads to unnecessary physical altercations.
Had my best friend not been there, I probably could have got capped. That potential was
I
there.
wouldn't even say that. I'm just saying physical.
Yeah.
You could have been. They could have just beat you up.
Sure.
They wouldn't have to kill you, but still, in that situation, that wouldn't even have been not only not necessary, but
yeah. Do I think that situation was handled wrongly? Oh, 1,000,000%. Do you think that has part of the reason of why I want to be a cop, so that I can make sure that doesn't happen to other people? Yeah. That's the whole reason of why I want to be a police officer, dude. Because I want to make sure that shit stops. Like, I don't want to do it because, like, I got a gun and I can fucking tell people what to do. I want to do it because I want to make sure that shit like that stops. When the riots were happening because of George Floyd's, I was at Station 6 in Milwaukee, okay? I watched a barricade happen. I was sitting in my station, and I walked outside, and I was watching people break into the store across the street from my station. And I was just like, holy shit, what the fuck is happening to my city, Not my city, but the city I'm working in. That made me realize that, yeah, there's some racist shit happening in police departments.
Not every police department. But if there is racism, as people talk about it, then either I want to see it firsthand so I can stop it, or if it's a bunch of malarkey, then at least I can tell people on this podcast or whatever is going on that it's a bunch of
you
malarkey.
think there's a chance it's a bunch of malarkey?
No, I'm going into it open to see what's going on. I'm going in it as an observer, and I'm going to tell the people as an observer.
So you have speculation that there's racism out there.
I believe in any situation there's racism, man. I believe that in any fire department there's guys that don't want to fucking save black people who are overdosing on drugs. I believe that on any police department there's cops that are fucking burnt out and don't want to fucking save black people using drugs or Latino people using drugs or white people using drugs. I believe that there are people that are burnt out. I don't think it's racism. I think it's that you've seen people at their worst end. Because
that's why I keep saying I don't like to use that word because it's a cop out.
Yeah,
racism is the most extreme scenario.
Don, if you,
I don't. That's why I don't like to use that word because people can say, "Oh, I'm not racist. I have black friends, or I mingle with black people, or this and that, black whatever." Yeah, you can. You cool with those people,
sure,
and you're cool enough to where you just because racism is just flat out. I hate black people. I don't want nothing, or not even black people. I hate another race, and I don't want nothing to do with that race.
I just want to hang on white people,
and I actually want to harm that race. But there are people out here that are willing to get to know certain people, but they're a little bit more skeptical on getting to know certain people. Or when they see those people that they don't know that look like that, they treat them different. Maybe it's not racist, but it's clear the treatment of them because they don't know that person and they look the way they look. It's clear that it's because of the way that they look. And because I don't know you, and on top of the way that you look, I have a certain thought process when it comes to you.
Don, can I kind of paint a picture for you, dude? I had grown up in the suburbs. I don't know if Jay ever told you about like my life experience, but I grew up in the suburbs my whole life. And for a while, I was very not wanting to go into the inner city. You can ask Jay all about this. I had no want to deal with anybody from the inner city. Because I had been told, all these people in the inner city were terrible people and yada, yada, yada. And it was this and that. And, I got my job.
But you don't think that's a problem? Is that not a problem?
But I worked for an ambulance company that was in the inner city. Was I not?
Right. But I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about whoever told you about the inner city and things that you might need to worry about on the inner city. And what is the inner city? Exactly. What does that mean? Milwaukee?
Yeah. I
live in Milwaukee right here,
but you're a great guy.
I understand that. But I'm not putting this on you.
I get that.
I'm just saying whoever said that to you and said you need to worry about the inner city, which they deemed all of Milwaukee as the inner city. That's a problem. Maybe they aren't racist.
But I'm
not saying that they are because I don't know this person.
Sure. But
that's a problem. That thought process is a problem. That type of thought process is what leads to shit like what happened to George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or whoever the fuck you want to name.
Bro.
Because it's a thought process. If you don't, that's the problem. It's not racism.
Sure.
I don't like to say that. I hate saying that. Because it's the extreme and people can bring up whatever they want to say. I'm not that.
Sure.
So it's a thought process. A thought process is the problem.
But bro,
if you have a thought that inner city which you deem as Milwaukee is somewhere that you don't need to go, that is a problem.
But bro, that's why
because those people that you'll say, if you say, okay, so let's say this person that said this to you, or let's just say anybody, I'm not even going to say them.
Sure.
Let's just say there's a person that thinks the inner city of Milwaukee is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have a position at a certain company or somewhere where they have a position where they have a huge influence on who gets hired at this place. Their thought process is that people in the inner city in Milwaukee are people that you need to avoid. So this person puts on their application their address, and it says Milwaukee, Wisconsin 532, whatever the fuck.
Okay.
That person has this influence on people that get hired.
Okay.
People that live in Milwaukee inner city are a problem. The people that we need to avoid. I'm not gonna hire this person because this is what their address is. This is where they live, and these people that live in this area are a problem. That's a problem. Maybe
that's
it's not racist,
Sure.
but it's a problem.
But bro, that's why there are people like me. That's the whole
But
reason.
you're
why.
one person. We're talking about billions of people that live in the United States.
But maybe if there's enough people like me who have gone into the inner city who can bring the information back, saying these not all people are bad. Maybe it's just an extreme that you've seen, right? And I'm trying to enlighten my friends and say, dude, not everybody's bad. It's everybody's a case by case scenario. That's why I'm on this podcast.
Listen, I get that,
but
I'm not. This is right there is the issue of what everything I have about everything you said about the George Floyd thing.
Sure,
it's a defense type of thing. I'm not talking about you.
I get that,
and I'm not talking about people that you may know and people that you may can go to. I'm talking about the people that have this thought process. They don't know people that are like you. But they don't know. They don't have people like that. And even if they do know people like that, that doesn't mean they're gonna believe what the fuck they're saying.
But that's the thing. Why there's people. There's lots of people like me that have gone through multiple experiences like me that have, that they are mixed. That are saying, listen here to their friends. Listen, not everybody in the inner city is bad. I didn't think everybody in the inner city was bad. My brother lived in the inner city. I didn't think my brother was a fucking shitty person, right? Right? Like Jay lived on.
These people that know you, do they know you have brothers that live in the inner city?
Yeah, my best. You know what's crazy? You know what's fucking crazy?
No, I'm saying these people that said.
Yeah, they know Jay.
The people that,
they know Jay.
The people that said things about the inner city.
Sure,
they know people.
They know Jay.
They know that you.
They know my brother.
So I mean, that's just proving my point. Is that they still said those things even though they know somebody that lives there.
But that was before they knew. That was before I worked in the inner city, man. Like I'm my best friend.
And even that's still the same thing. They'll still say the same thing. It's like, okay, like they're the exception, not the rule type shit.
I've had a lot of people tell me, you're a good black guy. We like you, but we don't like all black people. And it's like, why the fuck do you like me? There are thousands of other black people like me who are trying to not be the stereotype, who work hard every day.
You don't think that's a problem? That's a problem. If you don't like people that you don't know, that's a problem. That's so crazy to me. Like I was just telling you, I don't care about what you think. Like how you just said, I don't know you.
Don, why do these people feel this way? Why do they feel that way? Why do you think? Just tell me. Give me an honest reason why you feel these people feel this way.
No, I want you to tell me.
I think it's because of black people have been portrayed in such a bad way by the news, by media, that they think.
So that's the same argument about how you said you don't understand how black people think that all cops want to kill people, right?
I'm not. This is what I'm trying to
I'm asking you a question.
Yes, that's the same argument. And that's what I'm saying. I think that if people got to know people, instead of just listening to what the news said about them, that I think a lot of these problems would be fixed. That's why I'm here, man. Like that's why I want to be a cop. That's why I'm trying to make sure that people.
I understand. I understand.
Like that's the whole reason why I'm here, bro.
I understand everything that you're saying. The argument that I'm trying to present to you is that I want you to understand what the broad scope.
And I'm trying to break down
what people on this side think and what people on this side think. But the reason that they think that. The reason that both sides think the way they think is the same reason that they think the way they think.
Yeah, because they're not given
this. They see this side
each other.
and this is what I see. So this is what it is. This side is thinking the same thing. This is what I see. So this is what I think. I don't interact with cops all the time. But when I see people interact with cops that look like me, this is what happened. I don't see black people all the time. But when I see black people, this is how they are.
Don, if you were I actually told this to Jay.
This is a conversation Jay and I had. And Jay and I had on Father's Day last year, Jay and I got into a screaming match with each other over this situation. Because I was like, the whole Black Lives Matter is movement's a bunch of bullshit because it should be that everybody's life matters. And we literally got into like an argument with each other. And he was like, bro, I need you to understand that you live in a different America than what I live in. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that mind fucked me for a while.
Do you not understand that all lives can't matter if Black lives don't matter?
I think
the thing that people get misconstrued, and I don't think I've ever had a chance to say this on here, is that when Black people say Black Lives Matter,
Sure.
they're not saying that only Black Lives matter. We're telling people that kill Black people, the Black people that have been killed, they matter too.
Mm-hmm. I agree with.
So when it says Black Lives Matter, it's Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter don't say, oh, other lives don't matter. We're just saying that Black Lives Matter. That's it. Or they're just saying, I don't say that shit.
But the portrayal is that these people only care about Black people.
Where
That's
is that?
Huh?
Where?
In the name itself, Black Lives Matter. It should be that all people's lives matter, and you guys should.
But does that say only Black Lives Matter?
It seems like it when you. I mean, like,
what does it seem?
From an outside looking in, when you say Black Lives Matter, it seems like only Black people's lives matter.
And that's
right?
why I'm asking you how. It doesn't.
But the
seem
name
that
itself,
how.
Black Lives Matter. Like, you would think only Black people matter. Like, if I was just like,
who
white
says
lives
only
matter,
though? That's why I say all words matter. Words matter. If they said only Black Lives Matter, yes, they're just saying that Black Lives Matter.
If there was a Chinese Lives Matter or German Lives Matter movement, do you think that people would have a problem with that? Do you think that if there was a Austrian Lives Matter, a Swedish Lives Matter, a Hungarian Lives Matter, a Russian Lives Matter, do you think people would have a problem with that? They'd be like, what the fuck? Like, fucking everybody's life matters. What the fuck? But why is it okay
But
for
this
them
is
to be
speculation. That's why I keep telling you. I don't.
yeah.
That's something that I don't do. I
I'm
don't do the speculation. What if shit? I want to talk about what is. Because
I'm
we can't.
telling you, based off of like fucking everything else going on in the world right now, if there was a
Is
fucking
there?
white lives
Are
matter,
there? You're saying if you keep saying if.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't do that.
Sure.
I don't have that talk. I don't do what ifs.
Sure.
I don't do speculation.
Okay.
I don't only speak on facts and what is.
Sure.
I'm not gonna argue ifs because ifs, like you said, ifs we don't know.
Okay.
We don't know. It's just an if. It's something that is a possibility that not is. I don't have those arguments because anything can be made up when it comes to that. Even because I don't even like it when people say, well, if they was white, this wouldn't have done. I don't even like that. I don't do that. I don't do the what if shit. I hate that. When I'm in a relationship, I don't like that. I don't like a woman coming and be like, well, what if I did? There ain't no what ifs. Because I don't know. I don't know. I don't do that.
I respect that, bro.
So I want to talk about what is.
Okay.
We don't have that, so we can't talk about that.
But you're talking to me about speculations. But if you I give a situation all the time to I gave a situation to JR. So people in Campbellsport, okay? They don't I mean, dude, they're 45 minutes away from Milwaukee. Okay. They're only let's just look at one house in Milwaukee. All right, it's Campbellsport. Their only interaction with people in Milwaukee, hypothetically, is that they're watching the news and they're watching people burning buildings down, throwing things at police officers. What would that make you think about if you?
That's what I'm saying. You're talking to me. I don't do that. I don't play them games.
What do you think that makes people?
Just what I
see. But Don, what does that make people think?
But that was the whole point that I tried to point out to you.
I get that, and then
the cops. If the news is showing me that cops kill black people whenever they have an interaction, yes, I'm gonna think when I get into when I cross paths with the cop, yes, I'm thinking that they're gonna kill me.
Don, we're arguing the same thing here. I don't think
but I don't think you understand the side of black people having the thought process of that cops will kill them.
Right. That's why I want to be a cop, though, so that I can break that misconception that, I don't ever want somebody to think that, if I pull them over, that I'm there to kill them. I don't want that. I want to break that interaction
But
down.
you can't break that. You know why?
What?
Because you're black.
Yeah.
It's the problem is not with the black officers killing black people. It's the white officers killing black people.
But if I can talk to my white officer friends and be like, yo, look, dude, you guys need to fucking fix this.
But like you just said, if all they see is white people, is black people in the news doing these things, how can you change their perception of black people if this is all they're seeing? You're one black person.
Because I believe, honestly, I believe in people. And I believe that if I live, this was my problem with a lot of I don't know how to say this like the correct way. I had an issue with people being the stereotypical gangsters, I guess you could say, that were just dealing drugs and doing things that were illegal, stealing cars. And I had a problem with that because it was like, I'm black, and when I go up north, when I go up into Black River Falls, or I go up to Three Lakes, and all these, I mean, this is a 99% white place, right? They're going to see me because all they've been told is that, from the news.
So why do you have a problem with the stereotypical gangsters and not a problem with the people that associate you with those stereotypical gangsters?
Let me finish. I had a problem with that. I talked to my brother, and he was like, listen, you need to stop that. And then I went to work in the inner city, and I was hanging out with these stereotypical gangsters, and I was understanding that these people are people just trying to make a living. And yeah, maybe it's not the best situation, but it's the best situation that was for them. And I don't agree with it. And I think that, I think there's thousands of jobs out there and you could do something totally different. But, that's not my decision. That's not my fight for them, right? But there are people who are told that, only black people, deal drugs in the inner city. Or, inner city is predominantly black and there's a lot of drugs in the inner city. Or, there's a lot of homicides happening on the inner city and it's a lot of black on black crime. So when I go 4 hours north, people are like, yo, what the fuck? Why are you up here? You're just going to bring crime to my area. And it's like, nah, dude. I'm here to ride my ATV, go fishing. I'm here to just give you guys money for your economy, hang out. And a lot of these people end up changing what their perceptions on people are because they met me. And it's like, that's what I want, man. People might say oh, you're an Uncle Tom or something, but I'm trying to make it better for everybody because I am half black and I am half white. I'm trying to make not all white people hate black people, or the people that do hate white people just hate to look at me and go, hey, this guy's a pretty cool guy and it's a case by case scenario. Some people suck, but that's only a percentage of the population. That's an argument I have with all these people that are feeling like that. It's hey, it's a case by case scenario. I had to learn. Me myself had to learn it's a case by case scenario. That makes sense?
Yeah. No,
So I had to learn that. So I'm trying to teach that to other people. Mm-hmm. That's my whole goal in life, man, is to make sure that people don't understand, people understand that life is a case by case scenario. It's not because somebody is black or they're white or they're Jewish or they're fucking, I don't know, Hungarian or fucking European or Mexican or Muslim or it's case by case scenario. If we walked around and we're oh fuck, all Muslims are terrorists, obviously people would have a problem, right? Right. So why is it okay to do that to black people? It's not. Why is it okay for black people to think all white people are out there to kill them? It's not the case. I don't know. I mean, I grew up around a lot of white people. I grew up in the suburbs. I am very comfortable hanging out with white people. My dad always tried to teach me. It was you need to be on your toes when you're hanging out with white people because not all white people are your friends. And it was but these people I hang out with are my friends. They're here. They ride or die for me. I ride or die for them. And when we go up north, I was in Townsend, Wisconsin, man. I went to a bar. It was $25 all you could drink. And there's a dude there. He was pretty sloshed up, man. I mean, $25 all you can drink at a bar. I mean, I hope you would take advantage of that too, as well as I did. But This guy walked up to me and was like, "You're a fucking nigger. You don't belong here." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess, but I'm here regardlessly." So, I mean, that guy could have tried to kill me, but he didn't, right? You know.
Yeah.
So, my biggest goal in life is to make sure that people understand that every life is a case by case scenario. That's all I'm trying to do with my life, man. If I could die and know that at least I changed somebody's opinion and realize that people are a case by case scenario and not just a race. If black people looked at the police and are like, each cop, is a different person, or each white person looked at black people and were like, each person's a different person, like I would feel fulfilled. Like I want to break down those walls. That's what I'm trying to do with my life. And yeah, trying to be a cop, I feel like that um, helps that. It amplifies that. It makes people understand that not everybody's out there to hurt people. I don't know. That's where I'm at with that. But I get what you're saying. You're like, yeah, you shouldn't think that.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I'm just trying to make people on both sides understand that there's a middle ground. That's all. And maybe I honestly, dude, I might be going about it wrong. And if there's someone that's like, hey, if one of your or one of your people that listen to this, are like, hey, dude, you're going about it wrong. You should do this. Like, I would be glad to sit down and have a conversation with somebody and hear how they think I should go about it. I am all down for that. Like, but like my biggest goal in life is to be a bridge between different kinds of people. Mm.
I can hear it that you have good intentions.
Yeah.
That I can say.
So what's up? What's this without remorse thing, man?
Oh, it's a movie.
Well, all right. Who's in that movie?
Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, is that the movie? Is that the new one? Oh, okay. That's about his family and his daughter gets or his wife gets killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's on HBO Max.
No, it's on Amazon.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that, man. I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast and they've been talking about it left and right, man. I'm a big fan of Michael B. Jordan. I think he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
He's a straight thug in Black Panther.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
It was alright.
Really?
I like the action.
Okay.
But storyline and the acting I didn't really like. But
You don't like the storyline? Would you recommend to watch it?
if you like action, yeah.
I like action. I'm a fan of action. What is this next thing? Has capitalism ruined life?
That's it. That's capitalism ruined life.
What's your okay? Well,
The idea of happiness, I guess. Peace.
peace. I'd like to hear your argument on that. Let's hear it. What's your thoughts on that?
Think there's perks to capitalism, obviously, but I think so like how we think survival should be.
Oh yeah.
Because I was watching. I don't know if you watched. You probably should actually watch these. There's a documentary on HBO Max called "Exterminate the Brutes."
Okay.
I think it's exterminate. It's either exterminate or eliminate. I think it's exterminate.
What's that about?
It's about colonization, European colonization.
Okay.
So in it, I saw how the natives were living, more so here specifically.
Okay.
And, they was just, saying the land is the land. The land belongs to everybody.
Mhm.
And they came over here and colonized it.
Yes, sir.
And took it over and started selling it to other Europeans. And made it all about, okay, I own this. This is my part.
Mhm.
And if you want to own this, you got to pay for it.
Mhm.
Whatever plot of land.
Mhm.
As of before that, the natives were just living here.
Just
You know what
chilling.
I'm saying? Like,
Just
this is
hanging
our
out.
land.
Yeah.
It was
Just
like,
hanging out.
it ain't no, this is our part. We own this part. Boom, boom, boom.
Wasn't-
And even beyond, like, before that, like, it was like they were willing to share it with them. It's
What-
like, you don't have to take it by force. Where, if you want something, the land is the land. The land is for everybody.
Wasn't that how it was in Africa before the Europeans came to Africa? Or
Mhm.
right?
All in there, they specifically talked on America, but they did show how they went all over the world
Mhm.
colonizing in
Mhm.
Africa and in Central and Southern America. So yeah,
Do you think that capitalism is a bad thing? In today's world, do you think capitalism is a bad thing?
it's hard for me to say because this is all I know. So
Right.
I don't know any
Would
life other
you-
than this.
Okay, let's look at the Soviet Union where you were rationed out food. I mean, obviously the Soviet Union was ran shitty. It was terrible. Like it was fucking the living conditions of the Soviet Union were absolute shit. If you talk to anybody who lived in the Soviet Union, they'll tell you it was absolute dog shit unless you were rich as fuck. Right? But as average people, you and I, right? The Soviet Union, all the Soviets knew was communism.
But like you said, it was ran like shit. I think if it was ran,
So let's look at China then. Let's take a look at China because China is.
I guess my whole point to it is that I don't know the extent to these countries and how they're ran.
Mhm.
But I think for me, if you divvy up the money,
Okay.
like we have everything that we have structure wise. I'm not gonna say everything, but to a point, structure wise, we have the things that we have.
Mhm.
But certain things were just like
Give me
a
give
roof
me
over your head
give
was
me a-
automatically given.
give me
Food in your house was automatically given, and clothes on your back was, and then everything beyond that that you might want to have can be ran in a capitalistic type of thing. So like if you wanted more cars or if you wanted more houses than the one that we already give you, or you wanted more whatever.
bro. How would we? But I think the argument for that is, I think in an idealistic world, that's awesome. Yeah, everybody gets a house, everybody gets a car, everybody gets fed every day. That's awesome. Like you and I can agree, we want that, right? I don't want there to be homeless people. I don't want there to be people that are starving. It breaks my heart to know that there are people in Milwaukee who are starving every night. That shit sucks, and I wish I could feed them. But like, I don't know how. I don't know the resources to do that. If someone told me a resource like, "Hey, you give $100 a month to this organization, we could feed X amount of people," that'd be shit. I'd be down with that every month. Like I would, but the problem is like you give money to organizations like the Red Cross, or you give money to was that Salvation for Humanity, and you don't know where your money's going to, right? And I think a lot of people are skeptical of that. That's not the argument we're having right now, but I think that's something to be cognizant of. So yeah, I think you and I can agree that everybody should have a house on their head, over their head. Everybody should have a car, right? So they can get to and from work, and they can better society by working, right? They should have a good amount of food, right? Yeah, they should never go hungry. Like in an idealistic world, everybody wants that for everybody. The whole world. I wish that could be the same situation in Africa. But it's like, how do we go about doing that? How would we go about doing that?
How do we go about any of the things that we do?
That's the $1 million question, bro. Like if
The same way they go about spending money on all the other stuff they spend money on, they can come up with a plan for this. If they really wanted to make a plan for that, they could do it. They somehow was able to come up with this stimulus package where they actually literally do it. They literally do it every year. They make a budget on what they're going to spend money on. Dude, they can do it.
What trips me out is that Joe Rogan brought he brought a spotlight to some serious shit. He was like, why the fuck could we print all this money to give people stimulus checks, but we couldn't have invested the money in stimulus checks, and we couldn't have taken that money and put it in the inner city like South Side of Chicago? Why couldn't we put that in New York
That's
City?
Exactly the point that I'm making.
Right.
If they want to if they want it to be done, they can do it.
I like
that. Them giving out stimulus package, giving all these PPP loans. If they really want to set, a fixed amount of money on something, they will find a way to do it.
I don't know why they don't. With Joe Biden being in office, a pretty liberal guy, I don't know why they don't. I think that if we do a situation like that, though, we need to think about inflation. But
it's inflation, right? But
I was gonna say,
there's inflation right now. There's literally inflation happening right now
from the fucking stimulus checks. I know. I agree.
So there's no argument against if you want to talk. They want to bring up whatever. We don't have the money. Yes, y'all do. Y'all just gave out money. Y'all just gave out trillions of dollars.
Dude, last time you and I were here, I was here. You and I talked about the stimulus check, and I was like, "Why the fuck are we doing this?" And you're like, "People need the money." And I'm like, "This is fucking stupid. It's gonna make inflation." And you're like, "People need the money. We can figure out the inflation at another time." So yeah. I mean,
inflation doesn't even need to be. Look, I'm not the guy to have this, to come up with these ideas. Well, I just know I can challenge these things. Look what's going on right now. All these jobs were saying, there were a lot of people out here saying, oh, they can't raise minimum wage because it's going to cause inflation. Okay, they didn't do it. We got inflation now anyway.
And then they
exactly. Yeah. But now these same jobs are still upping their minimum pay because nobody wants to work. Because they giving out money in unemployment. So it doesn't matter if they can do these things. That's the whole point that I make. If they want to do these things, they can. They're coming up with excuses not to do them, but they can be done. We don't have workers. We got to get people to come in and work. We're going to up the pay to $10, $15.
What is the price of the unemployment checks? Isn't it like $1,200 a week or something like that? It's a pretty high amount. It's $600 a week, but that average.
No, I think it was whatever you get, whatever they would give you, like regular plus 600.
Yeah. So
for most people, it's probably at least 900.
So Don, I worked for 2 weeks and I did about 10 hours of overtime between those 2 weeks, and I made a paycheck, and I got $1,200. Why would people go back to work? I mean, like, that's not to talk about money, but that's a hypothetical here, or that's a situation. Why would people go back to work when they're making $1,200 to hang out at home and do the things that they've always wanted to do at home? Personally, me, I would never do that because I believe you work for what you get. But money, like literally, you would get more money to hang out at home than to go into work. For some people, not everybody, but a lot of people that don't want to go back into work, and that's why they're upping their minimum wage right now, or for entry level jobs, they're upping the pay, is because it's like, we need people to get this economy going. We need to get asses in seats So they're like, all right, we're going to pay people this much money. But
So why couldn't they do that before?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I don't.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm pointing. They make these excuses not to do it, but there's really no excuse. When push comes to shove, like, and that's what this is. Push came to fucking shove.
Don, I don't know.
And y'all are gonna pay these people is because you need them.
Dude, honestly, I don't know. Like, just thinking about it, like, after I heard Joe Rogan say that, I was like, dude, honestly, why couldn't they have just gave a stimulus package to the south side of Chicago where they revitalized the south side of Chicago and started doing construction on there? But you guys can throw all this money.
They can do that. That's what I'm saying. They
like, I don't get it.
They're the government.
Yeah.
They can do what the fuck they want to do. It ain't no, oh, we can't do that because, no. You're the government. You run this shit. You can do whatever the fuck y'all want to do.
Why is there fucking tent city in fucking LA right now? Like, why the fuck can't they like figure out a way to figure out how to get people jobs in LA so they're not living in tents?
It's bullshit, and it's showing that all these rules and regulations that they claim they have, they can't do things because of these rules. It's bullshit.
But it also
saying this is it ain't even real. It ain't even real rules and regulations. It's unwritten rules and regulations.
But it also
it's like, okay, this is the way it's been, so this is the way it's always gonna be.
But it also highlights the individual too, because a lot of these people that live in those tent cities are like, I like my way of life. I like living in a tent. I like being able to get high whenever the fuck I want. If I have a job, I can fucking get high when I want. Like, some individual people, like, dude, this is a classic statement that I believe in, that I learned it off of Men in Black, and it's stupid as fuck, and yeah, you can troll me for whatever you want from saying this, but the individual is smart, right? Shit. The people are stupid. Individually, to you and me, this sounds like a great idea, but to people that are maybe in a different region of the country than what you and I are in, that are living a different lifestyle than you and I are living, they're like, yo, I'm happy where I'm at. Why the fuck are they trying to make me go work? Like, you know?
Or people that live in tents, you're saying? Yeah.
I'm just...
Or live however they live.
Yeah, however people are living. Like, that... So, like, yeah, this might be great to you and me, and you and I might be pleading this case. Joe Rogan also might be pleading this case, and thousands of people listen to Joe Rogan, but it's up to the individual. And thousands of individuals may say, I don't want to do this. Because everything's up to an individual person to decide what they do want to do. That's the whole idea of capitalism, is that individually, it's your idea. If you want to be successful, then you're going to put in the work to make yourself successful. If you don't want to be
success is subjective.
That's the idealism of it, though. Yes.
But all the stuff that I'm speaking on is basic survival.
Sure.
House, clothes. What did I say? House, clothes, and food.
And cars.
I wouldn't even say cars. If you have a house, clothes, and foods, you don't even need to leave your house. If you are supply those things on a regular basis, you don't need transportation. Okay. If you're okay with that, if you're okay with just that.
But there are thousands of people that would just be okay with that, because there are thousands of people who just want to survive. You know, they don't want to better themselves, and that's not. I mean, good for you if you believe that. Like, that's your life theology. Like, good for you. Like, do what's good for you. But there are other people in the world that Jeff Bezos wanted to be more, so he created Amazon. Right?
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. You can allow that.
You know,
the point that I'm trying to make is those are basic things that should be supplied. But capitalism is rooted in survival of the fittest type of shit, which I'm not mad at. You know what I'm saying? That's the laws of nature.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for us as humans, we have a different level of it. We have emotion.
Mm-hmm.
We have empathy.
Right.
Things that other animals don't necessarily have to our capacity. I won't say they don't have it, but to our capacity.
Sure.
For most of us, some humans don't have empathy, but
Why do these people not have empathy though? What life situations happened for them to lack what circumstances happened so that they don't have it? Because that's a situation.
But that can go to exactly what I'm saying. There are people that don't have shit. So if I don't have shit, I don't have empathy. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get some shit. If I don't have anything,
I think a lot of people's issues are like that. Like with the hood is a prime example of that. A lot of people are like, why can't these like a lot of people from outside looking in will be like, why the fuck can't these people from the hood, you know, go to school and make the conscious decision to know that they want to be? Because you hear like basketball players saying like, yeah, I didn't want to be stuck in the hood, so I just worked harder and I grinded harder, right? And I got the NFL contract, or I got the the D1 contract for football, or I got the
there's only so many D1 contracts.
Yeah, but
there's only so many of any of these things that there's only so many D1 contracts. There's only so many people on the football team. There's only so many people on the basketball team. There's only so many.
Tom, this goes back exactly to our first conversation where we said the portrayal is that you hear these football players saying like, I worked hard. I worked my ass off so that I could be this great football player. But so that makes everybody from the outside looking in like, why the fuck can't these other people fucking work their asses off? I mean, like, I don't agree with that, but like, I think.
But there are certain things that you can't do to quote unquote just work your ass off. You don't just work your ass off to get certain jobs.
I'm not disagreeing with it, then, but I'm just saying from the outside looking in, a lot of people.
All these people can work their ass off to make it to the league. NFL only 300 people get drafted or whatever it is. I think it's 400. It might be 400 or whatever. In NBA, only 60 people get drafted. Only 12 people on the roster in the NBA. Only 55 people on the roster in the NFL.
Yeah.
Why do I have to be those things? Why can't I be? No, I know you're not saying. I'm just making the argument.
But I think
why can't I can't work my ass off to have the money in order for me to do so many things. Even I can work my ass off as hard as I want to try to get a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to be a doctor, or a lawyer, or ain't no scholarships in postgrad.
So it's crazy.
There's no such things. There's no scholarships in postgrad.
You know what's crazy?
I gotta pay for this.
So what's crazy is that my brother, I grew up in a suburb and I had an auto shop. And I spent my whole ass time in high school working on cars. Okay? That's what gives me, when I'm working on a car, I'm happy. Okay? That's it. I'm working on something with a motor. Motors make sense to me. And, but I never pursued that because I don't want to ruin that euphoria that working on a motor gives me. Does that make sense? I don't know. And Jay was like, dude, you don't understand how lucky you are that you have that outlet. Like I went and built fucking sheds in high school for other people with my class, and I learned how to build a house. And that transferred into me working as a framer for a while, building houses, because I had a knowledge of that already. They saw that I knew what I was doing. I could cut wood at it specifically. I could build a wall. I could set a wall. I knew that walls were 16 inches on center, And he was like, you don't understand that the inner city doesn't have that. I was like, what the fuck? Why does the inner city not have that? As I grew older, I realized that like MPS spends money on stupid shit like owning like empty buildings that they'll never be schools, and they don't want to sell them because they don't want them to be part of school choice, and that's stupid as fuck. But they're doing it, and that's taking away. The mortgage on that building is taken away from money that they could be putting into kids' kids' educations, right? Or they're spending an exponential amount on people's on teachers' 401ks and stuff, or their pensions. When some of these teachers are not producing good, smart children, or it's like, what's the literacy rate of MPS? Like, you could look it up; it's not great. And it's like, why are these teachers getting paid 60, 70 grand a year when they're not producing smart children? But it's like, why? So maybe if we could pull money from all these other organizations or all these other things, we could get money so that kids in the inner city could learn how to build houses. They could learn how to work on cars so that they could have
Pull from what organization?
just like, ridiculous pension or overpaid pensions or the vacant buildings or whatever else MPS is wasting money on. Because we know, or like even Tom fucking Barrett spending bajillions of dollars on the trolley. Like nobody, what is it, like 5 people they use a trolley or something? It's not enough to be a viable thing. Like we could have took that money and put it in the MPS so that they could have an auto shop in one of our schools, so that kids could learn how to work on cars, so that they could have a blue collar job, or they could learn how to be an electrician and make 90 grand a year, or learn how to be a plumber, or learn how to be a framer. So like they could make like, but we're not putting money into these things for these kids, and it's all unfair. Like I myself want my youngest brother, to go to my school that I went to in high school because they have AP core programs, which are ahead of placement programs. They're ready for college. They're college level courses.
Advanced placement.
Yes, sir. So that my brother could,
There are advanced placement classes in MPS.
Are there?
Yeah.
Because right now my youngest brother is pretty bored in class. Like he knows everything. He's just
No,
there.
it's not every school, but there are some schools.
So it's like I want him to go to my school where I went because they had AP. I didn't take the AP courses because I was too busy working on cars when I was in high school, right? And maybe I missed an opportunity. But I want my brother to have the opportunities that I had, right? And it's unfortunate that my older brothers weren't able to have it, but I want my youngest brother to have that opportunity. And that's a conversation I have to have with my dad and my stepmom and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I think. Like he would learn how, but at least my brother could learn how to turn a wrench on a car. So if he ever did fall in hard times, he'd go, well, I could go work at Tires Plus and could change oils on cars and I could pay my rent, or I could feed myself, like why can't that be a thing in MPS? Why can't there be an auto shop in MPS? Why are we spending money on all these other random things, but not helping the youngest generation? Like that doesn't make sense to me. But I don't work for MPS. I don't want to.
But these are the things that kind of go back to the point that I was making, what we were talking about earlier, is that it's different when it comes to Black people. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean. It might not be a racist thing, because that might not be a racist thing. That probably is what you were just speaking on. Probably is. But even if it's not, it's just that, okay, we know, just like how you said, the people that told you this is what it is in the inner city. So these same people that decide what these funds go to in MPS have that same thought. This is the product. They're just saying, like, this is what we get out of MPS. Or this is what we get out of the inner city, which is MPS.
So why don't?
So why would I put money into MPS if I know this is what the inner city is?
As a business, obviously people aren't businesses, but as a business, I can understand. But the MPS isn't a business. I feel as if
the government.
I feel as if it has been run like a business for a while.
Spending money is going to be treated like a business. If we spending money, MPS, children's education should not be considered as a business. But when you put money into something, it's a business.
Yes, sir. And I don't.
Once money gets involved, it's a business.
Mm-hmm. Because taxpayers.
People don't matter.
But Don,
once you put money in it, people don't matter.
So Don,
people don't give a fuck about people when money is involved.
So Don, why don't the taxpayers of Milwaukee County go, what the fuck am I getting out of my tax money? I'm just saying, like hypothetically, why don't people hold these people more accountable? I mean, like, I'm not saying that that's what should happen. There should be riots. I'm not saying that.
So what should they do?
I think they could vote people out of positions. They could try and put somebody in that would be more accountable for, or would make people more accountable for this.
Because, dude, it fucking kills me to know that, like, I swear, I believe, I don't know the exact literacy rate of 12th graders in MPS, but I believe, and don't quote me on this, I heard it was something like 25% or something like that. And it's like, for a 12th grader coming out of MPS, it's this rate. It's compared to somebody that's in Ozaukee County, Washington County, Waukesha County, Racine County, Kenosha County. We could even go up to like wherever, like Dane County. It's not as high. It's the lowest percentage in all of the state. So why are these people that are deciding where the money's going still in power? Why are people not holding them accountable for that? That's kind of the thing. Like local government.
But this kind of stuff can go in even deeper than that when you start talking about how I forgot what it's called, but how they decide
like
who lives where,
dude,
where that money goes.
Dude, my family
this
works for
area.
local government. My family works for MPS. Like I'm stepping on some fucking toes talking about this right now, and I'll have to deal with that when I talk to them about it, when they listen to this. But like, what the fuck? Like, and I'm not saying each person at MPS is bad and evil. Like, I think they're very good people that want the best for their students that work for. But the people that they work for, the higher ups that are, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, why we should hold these people accountable. We should use our local government to our advantage, right? Like, if this is failing, then we need to look at it and go, why the fuck is this failing?
Right.
I like those pants. Those are dope. Oh shit! I could have got you some. My bad, dude. I gotta say, I gotta say, this is a pretty good. I'm enjoying this conversation you and I are having, and I hope you don't think I'm some kind of bigot or anything. Like I'm just from my
when
life.
I say to you, I'll be honest. I honestly really don't give a fuck about what people think.
I was gonna say, this is from my life experience that I've talking on behalf of. You know, like, so I'm not trying to like step on anybody's toes or like make anybody mad. Like I'm just trying to fix the situation. You know.
I think when you want to fix something, you got to be open to when people are challenging what you're thinking.
I mean, do you think I'm open to other things?
I mean, you're listening, but open. You got to be open. You got to be willing to analyze what somebody might be challenging when it comes to whatever your beliefs or thought process is, which is what I am not getting from you.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's fair. I mean, I can only present myself in a certain way. Like
listen, I'm not upset at you or mad or judging you or any of those things. Trust and believe me when I tell you, people that know me will tell you that I honestly really don't care about a lot of stuff. I got my own shit to deal with before I'm worried about what somebody think and what somebody else say.
Dude,
I'm just here having a conversation with you.
Hand on the wood here, man. Like, knock on wood. Like, I gotta say, this has got me to be more. Your podcast has got me to look at things in a different manner. Because a year and a half ago, I've been like, dude, the cop didn't do anything wrong. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
I started listening to this and I started listening to other podcasts. I worked in Milwaukee and I saw other people's lifestyles. Like, I'm changing. I went to the kink club and I learned about how like gay people are being persecuted by other people. Like I've maybe I'm not the most experienced person, and maybe I'm not where I need to be with understanding, but I feel like I'm on that path to understand people. My my father himself always says when him and I get into a conversation about something and he disagrees with me, he's like, "Come back to me in 5 years. We'll have this conversation." The same conversation. He puts it in his phone every time him and I disagree with something. He'll put it in his phone and say, "All right, in 5 years, I'm going to call you. I'm going to see what you think about this." Like, I'm a guy living my life, and I used to be on one end, and I'm not
So
saying
how old are you?
I'm 23 or
Oh.
24. Sorry.
Oh.
I just turned 23.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
give me a whole different thought on everything that you've been saying.
yeah. So, like, I'm a guy I'm open.
Oh yeah, I'm not even. Yeah, I'm 30, so
Yeah.
I'll be 30 in a couple weeks. So,
Yeah. Isn't it crazy, dude, how, like, what is it, 7 years can change an opinion on
2
something?
years.
2 years could change an opinion on something, dude. I'm not the same guy I was when I was 22, you know? Like, when I was 22, I was climbing radio towers. I was trying to become a firefighter. I was 2 years, damn, I've been a firefighter for 4 years. I was 2 years into being a firefighter. I was diehard on being a full-time firefighter. I wanted to go to paramedic school. I was in EMT school and I failed the first time. And I was diehard, man. And then I went back to EMT school on my own dime and I passed. And I became an EMT. And that was the whole last year, man. I was an EMT the whole last year. And man, have my philosophies on life changed. I'm curious to see what my philosophies on life change when I become a cop, whenever it is. I mean, hopefully it's in this application process, but maybe it may be 5 or 6 years down the road. But man, am I curious to see what it's going to be like then. You know, like.
Yeah. I'll talk to my mom about stuff and hear her say stuff. Her prayers is she always say, keep living. When she say stuff to me and I'll be like, I might, you know what I'm saying, like question it. I don't dismiss it, but I might, question it. A lot of times it's just about, it ain't even about opinions on certain things. It's just about like friendships and relationships and shit like that. And health. And she just say, keep living. So that's the same thing. That's all I can say to you. It's just that's basically what your dad said. This is when he's saying that to you, like, come back to me in 5 years. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Keep living.
Yeah.
You keep living. You're gonna learn. You gonna learn different things. Just keep living.
Yeah.
Just talk about this. Did you hear about how COVID ruined snow days?
No, let's hear about that, dude.
So I guess now in certain states they get snow. Even if they do go back to school, they said they're gonna be doing school virtually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's like, oh, you're not gonna come in, but we're gonna do it virtually now.
Get wrecked.
So you still gotta go to school. You don't have to get up and get dressed and go to school, but you still gotta learn.
Stories versus pillagers.
Stories of pillagers.
What was that about?
You read the verses on the one order. It was about what I just told you about with the exterminate the brutes.
So
I think we need more of those type of stories.
What do you mean?
A Joe Budden reference. They was talking on there about, what was they talking about? They was talking about some movie. I can't remember the movie, but they just was talking about how just like how you were saying about like how the news, but even in like movies and TV shows, a lot of our stuff that's about us, about Black stories, is a certain image of us.
Yes,
Quote unquote, the worst image. So I just put that on. Like, we need more stories about how white people did some fucked up shit.
You know what's really fucking crazy is that I was watching do you have Disney Plus? I will give you my Disney Plus password. Okay, I'll let you watch Disney Plus. I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched the Marvel movies?
No, but I know what that is.
So, it's literally the story of Falcon and black people. It's literally a black...
Which I've heard, yeah.
Yes,
actually, yeah.
and it's cool because, I mean, spoiler alert here, a black guy becomes Captain America, and there's a black Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a pretty big thing, man. Like, and it like I was watching, I was like, why the fuck why does it matter that a black guy is Captain America? Why can't it just be that just an American guy who works for the Air Force that's Captain America? Like, why does it have to be that a black guy is Captain America? Why does that even matter? Why is it such a polarized thing? Why can't it just be an American's captain? When we go to a different country, why is it that, like, you know, you're just an American, but here you're a black American, or you're a white American, or you're an Asian American, or you're Mexican, or you're a Hispanic American? Like, why is that even a thing? I think we need
a real answer.
Huh?
You look for a real answer?
I don't know. Listen, I'm ready. Huh?
I mean, white people did it, right? They put it all on the applications and did all that shit. Like, oh, what are you? What's your race? Other countries do it, or have done it maybe, but
I would like to see America as a thing where people don't look at a race. Like, my girlfriend, her family looks at me.
If it ain't like, racist, it's gonna be something else.
No, but they look at me and they're like, dude, you're a great guy. You treat, you know, my family member very well. It doesn't matter that I'm black. It doesn't matter that I'm white. Somebody in her family flat out said some pretty racist shit. But it was that her grandma said it, and she was just repeating what her grandma said. And, you know, that can be handled at another time. I'm not going to say what she said or who said it. But, like, her family looks at me and they're like, you're a great guy. And we appreciate what you've done for our situation. We like having you around, and we're happy you're here. And I'm happy to be there, right? It doesn't matter. And they're a pretty liberal family, man. But they're pretty great. And they've treated me as if I was one of their own, like I was part of their family. And I am nothing but thankful to be in that situation that I'm in. I'm so happy. I love every second with them. I'm so thankful to be in that position and feel so lucky every day to go and see them. I wish there were more people like them in the world, man.
That'd be an interesting thing. Maybe we can talk about that.
I'll talk about it. What do you want to talk about?
Later. Oh, we can talk about that next time. We'll save something for when you come back. Talk about interracial dating with somebody that's actually in an interracial relationship.
Yeah, I'm dating a Polish lady. She's pretty sweet. I get some pretty dope food out of it. Polak food. Have you ever had a pumchki? No. It's some kind of fucking donut. It's good as fuck. I can't even... Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, my guy?
No, that's it. We done.
I appreciate having this conversation with you guys.
It was good. It's gonna be interesting to me to listen back on this.
I really hope that people think I'm racist or that I'm an asshole for. Again, I can only speak from what I know from my experiences. I'm a dude who grew up in the suburbs, surrounded by white people, man.
Listen, man, you only know your experiences.
Yeah.
And I feel like you have good intentions. But like I said, you can only speak from your experiences. So
I'll bet that.
And shit, like you 23, 24, whatever the fuck. Man, you getting, listen. 2 years from now, it's gonna be different. 2-3 years from now, it's gonna be 27, 28, you're gonna be completely different. Then once you have a kid and get married, man, everything, the shit's gonna change. Trust me. Everything that you think of right now is gonna change.
One thing I can say though is that like this year has been something that's reshaped a lot of my ideologies. And yeah, they might not be where they're gonna be in 5 or 6 years, but this has gotten the ball rolling. You know, like so what you're doing here, I madly respect, and I'm glad I could be a
appreciate
part
that.
of it. I always wanted to be on this fucking podcast, man. I shit you not. I was so mad that Jay never let me be on. And I was like, dude, let me fucking on. And when he was talking about when I was in the Virgin Islands, I was fucking just laughing my ass. I was like so happy. That was like when I was like, dude, I
Yeah.
want to be on. Like I should reach out to you. Yeah, man, I really appreciate this. I appreciate what you're doing. I said it last time, but I really respect what you're doing. That's coming from a dude who not from Milwaukee. And,
I appreciate it. I do. I really do.
yeah.
That's what this is about. Try to have open dialogue. So
That's cool.
you, we'll see. We'll see what the response is.
Yeah, hopefully it's nothing too crazy. Everyone's like, fuck this guy. I'm gonna fucking kill this guy if I ever see him. Yeah. I'd really like to be on here with Jay and Richard. That would be that could be a lot of art. That could be a lot of fighting between the three of us going at it. That'd be a good time. Whenever Jay and I go to a family thing,
Yeah.
it's always a debate between him, me, and Jordan about, and it's Jay and Jordan versus me talking about my lifestyle. And somebody will either give on my side or they'll go on their side, but somebody will be the medium between the two of us. And we'll talk about like why I feel this way about this X topic, and Jay will say why he feels this way about X topic, or Jordan will say how he feels about X topic, or my younger brother Jacob will say why he feels about this X topic, and it always turns into like this big thing where we're having this deep theological conversation every Christmas, every Father's Day, every Mother's Day, or every other day that we see each other. It's always a deep theological. Every time you can't get out of it. It's like a family ritual. It's kind of funny. But,
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on, man. Check us out everywhere, Not Included Pod, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We're on Facebook now. Cash App.
catch you up.
Yeah. That's it, I guess. I ain't got nothing else. Maybe we'll be back next week.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening to me.
That's it, man. We out.
Later, Gators.